Hey guys, today is going to be my second tutorial video in Gearworks, and today we're going to be talking about how to compress stuff. Obviously, compression is a very important thing to be able to do in Gearworks. You can make a lot of really cool stuff with compressing. So yeah, let's get into it here. First of all, when you're compressing stuff, you're going to need a tool. Let me see, quick attach compression tool. You're going to need a tool to help you compress stuff because otherwise it's really hard. So you're going to need something like this, you know, like a quick attach of anything. It could be a large one, but I like to use a small one here. Just put a button on it, you know. But you're going to need a quick attach tool because of this. Let me show you. Okay. In this game, when you weld stuff together, you're only able to weld two things at once. You can't weld more than two things at the same time with a single weld. So I will show you in a second why this is important. Come on. As soon as I have everything loaded in here. There we go. But yeah, you're just going to do the nail gun, you know, switch it to rotation mode. Because then it allows you to, like, flip stuff around back into itself. Kind of do something like this. Now, this is probably the easiest way to compress stuff. But this way only really works consistently with two items at once. Because you can only weld two items at once together. But now, if I add more to it, we should have problems. See, it still keeps welding these two together instead of welding to that third one. Maybe if I do it again it'll work, who knows. Oh. Sometimes you get lucky. Why don't you look at that? But you see though, if you do it this way, what happens is these become unweldable. You can't weld anything to them. Now what that means is that you can no longer accidentally interact with them. So we do this here. Oh yeah. By the way, this doesn't work if it has nothing else to weld to. So you can't weld it just like this. There has to be another piece. So if we do this, it doesn't have to be a big piece though. Just a little piece will work. Something even this small will work. But you have to have a center point for all your welds to attach to. That's just how this works. So, if I do this, I almost forgot about that actually. But what we want to do is, we want to have it like this. And what this does is it makes all those pieces uninteractable except for the piece attached to it, like this. So then what we do is we put this. Oh shoot, hold on, you gotta do this first. You gotta do it like this. And then you do that. No. Hold on. Because you have to keep it separated so then this doesn't grab onto that other thing. So you do it like that. And then now what happens is this is uninteractable except this piece right here. And then you do this. Boom. Just like that, it's done. And then all you gotta do to keep compressing it forever and ever is you just complete that cycle there. That's all you have to do. And you never have to worry about it not welding to it. Like if I place a weld on it and then all of a sudden it decides to just like not connect to it after I undo the nail, you know, this will make it consistent very easy each and every time. Because if you do it the first way I was doing it earlier, it gets harder and harder the more stuff is attached to it. Because eventually you'll have other items clipping through it, at like really small differences. So then what'll happen is that it'll decide to weld an item that already got welded versus the item you're trying to weld already. Now, this same technique does work with every component and every item in the game. A lot of people like to do it with impact charges and pressure charges. So if I spawn in, hold on, pressure charge gun, there you go, right? I believe I did, hold on, did I? I don't remember, hold on. No, I didn't, okay. But basically, if you want to compress impact charges consistently, because I know these things can be tricky little buggers to try to compress into each other. If you do that same method I just showed you to connect these together, it'll work just fine. So if we do if we do this, you know, and then we give it a little guide piece here to attach to. And then what we do is we quick attach the stuff we don't want to weld to. And then we do this. Oh shoot. You gotta nail it to it first, because you can't nail to something that's quick attached. And you can't pick it up either. But we want it something like that. And you want to make sure it's out of the way. You want to make sure it's out of the way so that it doesn't grab onto that piece either. Because you won't be able to interact with that one. Oh. I think it's too close to it. It actually grabbed it. So you gotta be somewhat further away from it like this. Right, did that grab it? No. Shoot, it's rolling around. It's rolling around on me, man. Hold on. There we go. Then we do that, and then there we go. See, now it'll let us... Because see, what this will do is it ignores all the pieces that are quick attached, except for the guide piece and the one that we want to weld. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Come on, let me grab you. There you go. There. Now we have a triple compressed impact charge. And a lot of people like to do this with jet engines as well. Let's get a jet engine. I'll show you how to compress jet engines very easily. As soon as we get a bunch of them spawned in here. Hold on, let me like edit this part out. Alright, here we go. So now we have a bunch of jet engines, and we have one with a little guide piece on it, and our tool right there. So let's start. The first one, really easy. You know, you don't really have to, you don't have to do anything with the first one. The first one is always really easy to do. There we go. See? And then, now what we do is we have a jet engine right here. Nail it on like that. Quick attach it. Spin it around. Weld it to our guide. And then there we go. You can just keep doing it over and over and over again. Also though, make sure before you do this, you actually make it so that it is all already wired up with, crap, what's the word? Control boxes. Because otherwise, trying to keybind it while it's all like inside of each other is really difficult. And if you have, what is it? Remote sockets, they can also be somewhat tricky to work with as well. So I recommend just hooking all of them up to a control box before doing this. Just for the easiest simplicity here. But you just keep doing this over and over again until you are satisfied with how many items are compressed. Do keep doing that. Do it like this. Boom. Next one. Do that one. There we go. And then, boom. It is very easy. But this is like, what, like 6 jet engines or something? But yeah, it's a lot easier to do it this way compared to, just doing it normally without like a tool or anything. This is a lot easier because you'll end up just spamming so many welds on it in order to just get lucky and actually weld the piece that you want. And it's not great because you just have a bunch of welds everywhere and then it looks really ugly. Yeah, and you can also do cool stuff like this too. Watch this. Boom, jet engine explosion. Wait, let's see. 7 of them? Yeah, that was 7 jet engines. Cool. But yeah, that is how you compress in a nutshell. There is nothing more to it than that. You just need a tool. You need a little piece to like kind of anchor everything to. It can be any size. It could be this long. It could be this short. It could be super wide. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, you just need a guide piece attached to whatever you're trying to compress everything inside of, and then you need a tool. And what you have to do is you have to nail stuff to the item, make sure it's out of the way, and then quick attach all the pieces you don't want to weld to, and then use the nail gun to rotate it back into itself, and then weld the piece you want to compress to your guide piece right there. And that's it. That's all I got for this.